What they do, what it is, this is Orion, aka Brass Balls, coming at you with a new deep dive tape stash. It's been a minute, but here I am back at it for y'all. As always, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Orion Hip Hop. You can peep previous episodes of Deep Dive Tape Stash, peep all the things I got in the archives, as well as dope remixes from yours truly. I just recently did a remix on the Eminem classic Any Man. Go check it out on the YouTube page, as well as ill original music from yours truly. Dope obscure demos, you know what it is. Orion Hip Hop. We passionate about all things that come from this culture, you feel me? Now this is a obscure tape I got for you. Real gangster rap 1994 era type of joint right here. I hadn't heard of this brother until this tape popped up in my collection, which I inherited from the good brother Name Brand. May he forever rest in peace. Big ups to the homie up there in the sky watching over all of us. But this is a rapper out of Braddock, Pennsylvania. Not really familiar with the area, but this dude definitely came and represented for them on this album. He goes by the name of Blak Czer. And this is an album he released once again in 1994, Tales from the Black Side. Almost entirely produced by the legendary West Coast producer DJ Battlecat, which I've been a fan of his production ever since I first heard of him, which was off the Domino album with the joint Ghetto Jam and so many other joints he produced on that. But Battlecat has produced for legends: Snoop Dogg, Exhibit, Razkaz, Mac 10, Dog Pound. The list goes on and on. A who's who of West Coast rappers, as well as a bunch of East Coast rappers. This is early on in DJ Battlecat's career, and the production is still stellar on this project. This project really surprised me that I hadn't heard of it or anything. I tend to be more of an East Coast MC underground, but I love my West Coast sound too. I love the G-Funk era, and this is definitely that gangster rap era that was popping off in the 90s. Blak Czer, being from Pennsylvania, offers an East Coast aesthetic to his flow over some real West Coast type of rhythms, you feel me? Opening track for this album, and actually the lead single, was a track called The Hood, and that was the only track that Battlecat didn't produce. That one was actually produced by Smash Money. He's also featured on the song, and the song even has a video that you can check out on YouTube. Description box, folks, because I put links to things like that, videos, and even other things that I'm going to mention throughout this deep dive tape stash. The tracks that really stuck out for me are The Hood, Just Another Day. That's the most cliche name you could give a song that's on that gangster rap thing, Just Another Day, but it's still dope to me. I Wonder Why is the last song on the album, and it actually credits Dana Dane. I don't know if Dana Dane's really featured on it. I couldn't really tell by the voices, but he is accredited to it somehow. And then one of the other tracks that really stood out to me that really wasn't too much on the gangster tip, it was more on some real MC tip, is a track called Versatile with Style. I think this is where Blak Czer shines with the pen rather than the thug gangster persona that he mastered so well on this album. Other tracks like Who Got the Glock are pretty dope as well, I must say. This album was actually reviewed on a website called Rap Reviews that I happened to come across when I was researching this whole thing, and they gave it a pretty good rating of 7.5, and I actually don't disagree with that rating. I think this album could have hit a lot harder, but this is a real hardcore underground type album, so it's understandable why it really didn't go mainstream and have the commercial success of other gangster rap albums from that era. And listening to this album, before I figured out that Battlecat did the production, I was actually thinking to myself, because I found out this dude was Pennsylvania, that maybe some of the production was by another Pennsylvania producer by the name of Sam Sneed. Sam Sneed went on to be a producer under Dr. Dre, was supposed to be an MC that would come out in Death Row. However, many of you may know that there was a lot of turmoil that was happening in Death Row at that time, and an altercation that happened with Sam Sneed at Death Row, And there's interviews with J-Flexx, a ghostwriter at Death Row who collaborated with Dre and Sam Sneed because he himself was from the same area, I guess, of Sam Sneed, and he goes into that. I bring all that up not just because of the fact that they're both from Pennsylvania, but when I looked at the liner notes, the very first thing that he does is shout out K Solo, and even says something along the lines of shout out to K Solo for the birth of Blak Czer. So I don't know full significance of that, if K Solo took him under some type of mentorship or motivated him to pursue rap. I don't know what the whole story is there. I would like to know. That would be dope. But Blak Czer is a obscure cat in this hip-hop thing where I wasn't really able to find any interviews. So if you're watching this and you know what the deal is with the brother, hey, drop a comment, drop a link, let me know. I'm always down to peep that. But then right after he does that in the liner notes where he shouts out K Solo, he gives a shout out to Sam Sneed, Dr. Dre, Pac, Redman, the Death Row camp, and then goes on to name some other industry heads. But I think it's prominent when he mentions them first, and that's a big thing for him to do. So I think this brother had some kind of ties to not only the West Coast because of his affiliation with Battle Cat, but to go out of your way and first shout out Sam Sneed, Dr. Dre, and the Death Row camp on your liner notes. That's gotta mean something. Not to mention that at the end of his liner notes, he has a quote that says, "Power never sleeps," and that quote comes from Harry O. Harry O was the original investor to Death Row. He planted the seed money. He was a big baller at the time doing his thing, drug kingpin some would say, and the brother shouts him out in that way. So that's very curious to me as to what was Blak Czer's ties to the West Coast. It seems pretty deep if you ask me. He would go on to be a producer and produce for another Pennsylvania cat by the name of Wiz Khalifa. Wiz Khalifa in 2006 released an album called Show and Prove. On that album, Blak Czer has some production on it, a track called Locked and Loaded, and another track called Stay in Your Lane. I took a listen to them, and the production is actually really dope on it, man. So the brother still stayed in the game. He didn't stay rapping because this, from what I was able to see, was the only rap album that he put out as a vocalist. But he went on to continue producing for Wiz Khalifa 4 years before Wiz Khalifa would blow up with his single Black and Yellow. Another cat that Blak Czer produced for was MC8 on an album MC8 released under an AKA Tony Smallz. He produced 4 tracks on that album that are pretty dope, so it's worth checking out. Go check out the MC8 Tony Smallz album and also the Wiz Khalifa first album, Show and Prove, so you can see what I'm saying. I'm gonna drop links in the description box to make it easier for y'all, because that's the kind of love that I share with y'all. Anyways, I think I'm gonna keep this tape after giving it a good listen. I was gonna sell it on my eBay account, but I don't think I could break apart from it. This is some real obscure gangster rap shit right here, and it's gotta stay in the collection. You feel me? Hope y'all enjoyed this deep dive tape stash. Salute to all my peoples out there. Peace.